Hello, Internet. It is me, Z-Man. Tijani. So, back on the 2nd, I returned to school for my senior year. So, that's why this video took a few days extra. Now, this video wasn't already, took way too long before, but that's why it took a few days later, to the point where now it's the only video I'm able to get out this week. Good thing Best of Looney Tunes will only take me a day, so I can mostly focus on American Dad, and then Bob's Burgers, and then the whole million other things I have to be doing. My name is Earl. Well, episode 1 pretty much explains what the show's about, so I'm just going to wait for that. All you got to know is that it's a show I've known about for I shouldn't say a long time, but for a few years now. I've always kind of known about the title, like My Name is Earl. I've been aware of the title, just not so much what the show, I didn't know much about the show beyond the title, so, hey, good as time as any to finally just start watching through these episodes, you know? Episode 1, Pilot. A scumbag named Earl gets hit by a car after winning the lottery, which helps convince him to be a better person. His first task is to help his old victim Kenny. Yeah, that's pretty much the plot of the show. Earl was this jerk. He won the lottery. He got hit by a car. Learned about this premise called karma. And the rest of it, at least for season 1, this and the remaining other 23 episodes in the season are pretty much about him trying to right his wrongs, which is actually a really good idea for a show. So already I'm intrigued. And already Earl is such a likable. It almost feels, without the show, we see almost every episode as a flashback to an awful thing he did, because we have to know what it is for him to take it off the list. And it's always, it never struck me as a little weird seeing Earl being such a bad person, because Earl feels like such a naturally likable person. He's kind of dumb, but it's clear that but now that he's reformed, it's clear he clearly just cares about doing the right thing and the karma and all that. And I found this episode to be really good, actually. So we're starting things off on a really good note. Once we actually get to the Kenny stuff, it still remains just as good. Seeing Earl just help someone he used to bully and make fun of was really wholesome. It was definitely leaves you with a really good time. There's also some pretty funny moments in this one as well. We have the old woman scream, the woman who accidentally hits Earl, her scream. That's really funny to me. I liked it when a standout moment for me in this one was when the hooker, at first Earl pays a hooker to do it with Kenny because virgin, but then it's revealed but since Kenny is later revealed to be gay, all he ends up doing is just paying the woman and talking with her, like not even really doing anything. That was funny to me. Just a whole story about acceptance. It was very good. Very good. Again, this is a really good episode. 2, quit smoking. Earl tries to stop smoking and also tries to make things up to Donnie. Don't have much to say. 3 out of 5. Sorry about that. Don't have a lot to say about this episode. Both plots of the smoking and trying to make things up to Donnie, I felt like these should have been 2 separate episodes, but for whatever reason we're kind of forced into one. I do kind of like where they take it by the end with Earl and Donnie's mom. Donnie's mom, just because Donnie forgives Earl, Donnie's mom does not, so they still fight about it, and eventually they both try to quit smoking it together. I don't know, though. This episode was just kind of there. Maybe it's because episode 1 was so good that this episode by comparison wasn't bad, but it was just sort of there. Either way, not bad. Just kind of meh. Again, don't have a lot to say about it, so I'm just going to move on. We do get a Betty Boop cameo in this episode, though, so that's, as someone who loves old school animation, I really liked that. 3. Randy's touchdown. Earl realizes he made Randy miss a chance at getting a touchdown, so he puts him back in high school. Don't have a lot to say. I really liked the Randy stuff. However, there is this character. Her name is Joy. I really, really, really don't like Joy. She was a part of the previous episode, but now that she's affecting a good episode, by the way, this is a 4 out of 5. It just shows how much I dislike her all the more because, first of all, well, Earl was in the hospital in episode 1. She divorced him and took Darnell, who I like Darnell as a character, but seriously, but come on, man. And from there, just in these episodes, she's acting like, oh, I did you half the money. No, you don't. You divorced Earl. You deserve, when he was in the hospital, you deserve nothing. I know her whole character is meant to be white trash, but that doesn't make it okay. That's not even funny. So yeah, I really didn't like Joy. She got a lot of screen time in this episode and in the last one too, but at least the Randy stuff in this episode still makes it good for me. That stuff was funny. Randy is Earl's. I guess I should explain this. Randy is Earl's brother, and pretty much Randy. If Earl's already a little dumb, Randy is really, really super dumb, and that's why he's my favorite character because he gets all the best jokes and lines in the show. I really love Randy. So good. So I'm glad to see that his first Spotlight episode was still a good one. Episode 4, Faked My Own Death. Earl makes up with his old girlfriend, Natalie. Not even going to say anything about this episode. 4 out of 5. All you gotta know is it's really, really good. Definitely the best episode so far. Just really good stuff. Everything from from Earl's opinion on Natalie to during like the history where they were dating, all the way up until what her current boyfriend does and what that causes Earl to have to go through. Just a consistently really entertaining episode. I definitely like this one a lot. It also has, in my opinion, one of the most memorable moments in the season. And one of the moments where I truly realized wow, Randy really is objectively the best character is when he's talking about gender and he's like, we should listen to Kathleen because she's a woman and Natalie's a woman and we're men. So we should listen to her because she's a woman. She's talking about woman. It's not as funny it's one of those jokes where it's not as funny when someone just casually says it, but like when you watch the scene, it got me, bro. It really did get me. Freaking love Randy, man. And this is also a really good episode too, so that's also very good. Episode 5, Teacher Earl. Earl meets an old friend, Ralph. He's also a teacher to help foreigners speak English. 3 out of 5. Same problem as the Quit Smoking episode. It was kind of just 2 separate episodes that were just kind of melded into one big thing. Earl and Randy, the backstory explaining how Earl used to pick on foreigners, which is why he's being a teacher for them. Earl and Randy making fun of the foreigners was really funny. I really liked that. But other than that, there's not a lot of this episode I really liked. Just kind of there. Another watchable one enough. Episode 6, Broke Joy's Fancy Figurine. Earl tries to replace Joy's old figurine she won in a beauty pageant. Boy in a joy episode. You know what that means? I felt not that much joy. It's a 3 out of 5. I get what this episode's going for. I get that we're supposed to feel bad for Joy because Earl genuinely ruining this figurine she got and her trying to pretend she doesn't care about it. I get what the writers are doing. They're trying to get us to care about Joy. But to that I say, I'm sorry. Well, admittedly, Earl was definitely a jerk to her in that episode. I mean, not episode, that moment. And again, like pretty much all these episodes, it's good to see Earl being a better person. I just still can't say I sympathize with her that much. And Earl helping like Joy's rival, because Joy's rival, if Joy's rival gets another figurine, she'll give Earl the one that he can give to Joy. But then it turns into the daughter not really wanting to do it, so she just so Earl has decides to help the daughter instead. Just it's not bad. I want to stress that even the episodes in the sea, it proves how good this show is being, because even these meh episodes aren't anywhere near close to bad. They're just there. You could watch them, but I wouldn't recommend it, because not even because they're bad. They're not even like bad or mediocre in fun and interesting ways. They're just kind of like 3 out of 5s. They're just there. There's nothing to really say about them. So like, why even bother bringing them up? 7. Stole beer from a golfer. Earl helps fix a golfer's life. Meanwhile, Randy wants to go to the fair. Don't really have a lot to say. It's a it is a little funny how much or how many problems the golfer has now. Earl has to keep trying to fix them. You have to do all this. We solved this thing, but now we have to help with this thing. Now we dealt with this thing, so I have to go to this thing. But in general, still, just there, 3 out of 5. I really don't have much to say about this episode. Again, for these my name is Earl episodes, the worst things I can really say about them is that they're just kind of there. I'm pretty confident this is the episode where Randy tries to like help out, and like actually starts to be a better person as well. So that's good. But other than that, other than the occasional funny moment, like Randy saying the fair, it's like Disneyland for poor people. And Randy having another quote of, "You have beer, so sometimes things work out." You also have Randy eventually telling the golfer, "I hate you," because of all these, because of the escalation. But other than that, just there. 8. Joy's Redding. What's a Redding? Sound Asian there. Apologies to any Asian folk watching this. Except not really, because come on, it is a little funny. 8. Joy's wedding. Earl ruins Joy's wedding to Darnell, so he helps plan a new one. For being a Joy episode, I surprisingly liked it. It gets a 4 out of 5 from me. Yeah, 4 out of 5 from me. My opinion really matters. I can't really say I care about Joy, so her bonding with Earl and then them making out, like I didn't really care about Joy, but I do care about Earl and Darnell. So seeing their friendship actually being put through the test, because Darnell's whole shtick is that he is the most chill guy on the planet, to the point where Earl doesn't even really mind that Darnell took Joy, which props to Earl, him is still casually hanging out with Darnell despite Joy leaving, despite the fact he literally took Earl's wife. It was funny, yeah. So yeah, seeing more of Darnell and more of like his inner thoughts was really good, because I do really like Darnell as a character. Don't much to say. Good episode. 9. Cost Dad an election. Earl tries to make his dad mayor after he caused him to lose the election 4 years ago. 4 out of 5. This is a good episode. It was about time we eventually saw what Earl's parents were like, and honestly, as much as they're kind of bad parents for like not wanting Earl back in their lives, given that the entire show is about Earl being just the most worst person in his past, yeah, maybe it's a little understandable. Admittedly, though, the fact that they still willingly talk to Randy because they know Randy's just an idiot, but Earl was a bad person. That kind of hit deep, though. Like choosing Randy over Earl. If it was both of them, that'd still be bad. But the favoritism is just ooh. Other than that, though, 4 out of 5. It's one of those episodes I like without it being anything crazy good. There are two things I want to quickly point out about it, though. Well, one, I did like the ending where even though Earl's parents still don't fully trust him, Earl's like, I just have to keep doing things on my list, and hopefully they'll eventually start to like me. And that was actually good. I liked that they didn't like just immediately end things like pretty much all the other episodes. They leave it open ended to continue for a later episode, and I think that's really cool. You also gotta love this is actually one of the rare, genuinely funny Joy moments when Darnell is talking about voting, and Joy's like, "Nah, that's just some black ass stuff. I don't know what he's talking about." That got a laugh out of me. I actually genuinely, that was really funny to me. But yeah, this is a good episode. 10. White Lie Christmas. Joy pretends Earl is still her husband in front of her parents. Meanwhile, Randy wins a contest. I don't know, man. Honestly, 3 out of 5. Easily the worst episode, and honestly, almost a 2 on it. The problem I have with this episode is that the even in the weakest, most mid My Name is Earl episodes, that's all they are, mid. Because even in the weakest episode, there's still this wholesome energy to it. Like, yeah, Earl has had a crummy life and has been a crummy person, but the whole show being about him wanting to help people helps give the show this pleasant feel. This episode, on some level still trying to be like that, just felt miserable. Joy and her parents are just I really don't like them. I don't like Joy's mom, who's like, "Don't judge me. I'm gonna judge you. Like you a gambler." Spoiler alert. And then, spoiler alert again. Joy's dad, like the whole reason Joy and pretends Earl stole her husband is because Darnell is black, as a joke in the previous episode should have let you know. And she thought that her parents wouldn't be accepting of that. But turns out Joy's dad cheated on Joy's mom with a bunch of black women. So, that's cool. And by cool, I mean that's really bad. And in the end, it causes me to. I know that the whole point is that even if you want to try to lie from your parents, everyone has like these skeletons in the closet. But like, I just think they could have handled it better. Also, the whole B plot with Randy trying to win a contest at first was good, but then when Catalina ended up like trying to just win it on her own, it's like, come on, like she doesn't really do a ton in the show other than just kind of being Earl and Randy's female friend, who Randy obviously has somewhat of a crush on, but wasn't great, honestly. This episode, I think what saves it is that it's not. I didn't have a horrible time watching it, which is what still keeps it at a 3. But man, for a Christmas episode, they really let things down. Though, admittedly, I'm not usually the biggest fan of Christmas episodes, so that should be taken into consideration when viewing my thoughts on this episode. And hey, it being so weak at least means I have something interesting to say that took up several minutes of the runtime, so that's cool. Let's just hope none of the remaining 14 episodes are that bad. I mean, I already saw all of them, so I kind of already know if they're that bad or not, but let's just pretend I don't. And now we can stop pretending, because now I'm talking about episode 11, Barn Burner. Earl and Randy visit an old camp they were in as kids. I like this episode. It's good. My main problem I have with this episode is that pretty much it's revealed that Earl and Randy were supposed to go to this camp to be better people, but Earl thinks he burned down the barn and thus ruined Randy's chance to be a better person. Turns out it was actually the exact opposite. So then Earl, for some reason, makes Randy do all the stuff on his list. Like, I don't know, it felt so out of character. I know it's supposed to be like this, so that way he can learn. I actually should just should be forgiving, kind of like how Earl's kids forgave him. Earl has kids, by the way, but they're technically not even his. But it's a whole thing. Just watch the show. Well, I don't know though. It's still a good episode. Still funny, which I think is why I enjoy it. But still not great. At least we got Randy attacking chickens. Also, when Catalina talks to Joy, Joy says she cannot speak maid, and that was funny. 12. Oh, Karma, where art thou? Well, Randy works at a restaurant for a week for someone on his list. Don't have much to say. Really good episode. This one tried to delve more into the premise of karma, which I actually thought was really cool because they always bring it up in the show, like, you gotta do karma, man. You gotta be good so good things can happen to you. Which, I mean, we can all believe what we want, but but at least for this show, I think they use karma in a really good way. So seeing the boss of the place Randy did I put Randy works at a restaurant for a week? I am so dumb. Earl. It's Earl, guys. That's me, bro. That's me. But like, God, Mm. Yeah, Earl. Earl having to deal with the boss. That's just really horrible. But then Earl kind of becomes karma. That's really good. This is a really good episode. Don't let me being dumb about the story description ruin anything. This was a really good episode. Easily one of the show's best. Or at least seasons. I've only seen season 1. Alrighty, you guys know what it is. Choosing Gatorade this time. You know, an intermission like this would be awesome if I had like subscribers or people who are on the live stream. But I don't have any of that, so now I'm just kind of doing whatevs. Oh well. Alright, the intermission over. Up time for episode 13, I know. Stole P's HD cart. Earl returns Pop's hot dog stand before it burns down, so he needs 10,000 to get a new one. Another one of my all-time favorites of the season. All I'm going to say, really good, really funny. Almost even a 5, which I think really shows just how really good this episode is. I'm sorry that for the best episodes, I'm just not going to spoil it, but all you know is I really like it. And if you disagree, well, then please comment about it so that way we can have a good old discussion about it. 14. Monkeys in Space. Earl tries to give his old friend Hank one last good day. Meanwhile, Randy tries to find his purpose in life. Another 4 out of 5, and another really good episode, one of the best of the season. I know typically I don't like when they try to force like multiple stories into one episode. Not that I think that's bad for all shows. Absolutely not. It's only with Earl though. When I think of the episodes at their best when they're really dedicated to something. But this is one of the rare exceptions because I found both journeys in this episode really fun. Earl having to wake up earlier and earlier and trying to do all these things for this guy was funny. But also seeing Randy trying to actually do something with his life instead of just being a dumb loser was also pretty entertaining. Admittedly, I don't love where it ends, where, spoiler alert. Okay, I'm just going to stop saying that. I'm just going to assume you guys all should somewhat know what I'm talking about. It ends with Earl being like, Randy, this list is our purpose. So like it's really Earl's. I know they try to show it off by having Randy help Earl with it, but I don't know, saying that was his direct purpose in life was a little weird to me. Like, really? This is his purpose? Okay. Still, pretty good episode. One question for it, though, is why is it called Monkeys in Space? I had to look it up to make sure Disney Plus wasn't just messing with me, but no. Episode is really called that, and I don't know why. If I'm just being a dummy and not knowing what it's talking about, what they're even talking about, then please let me know. Well, 15, something to live for. Earl helps a guy named Philo not end it all. Don't have much to say. 4 out of 5. Pretty good episode. Seeing Earl feel the need to help someone despite it not really being list related was pretty good. Again, shows his morality. And Randy helping Philo again at the end also shows Randy being better, so good times all around. Don't have much to say, honestly. Philo is a little annoying, so that makes the episode a little worse, but I'd still say it's a pretty good episode. 16, The Professor. Earl dates a college professor, meanwhile, Randy joins a frat house. 3 out of 5, completely, utterly watchable. Don't have much else to say about it, honestly. I liked Randy in a frat house was easily the best part of the episode, which is why I even felt the need to even put it in the story description. I really liked those scenes, but the Earl dating a college professor stuff was just kind of there. I guess it's good to show Earl trying to mingle with more women since the whole Joy situation, but I didn't find it that entertaining. And seeing Karma being so direct with Earl's punishment felt a little cartoony, like a little much. And also, because of this being a one episode thing, it means I can't really get too invested in Earl's romance. Maybe, I mean, they do try to make it like the dad and Costa in an election episode where they try to make it more open ended. Like maybe someday I'll get with her, which makes me question if in a later season they're actually going to have them be more of a permanent item. As for now, though, I don't know. And this is a pretty meh episode. Okay, just gonna skip through some of these. I think you know the drill by now if you've seen enough of my videos. 17, didn't pay taxes. Earl tries to pay back the government after not paying taxes, but the episode turns into hating on the government. No, this isn't me being dumb. The episode, I even wrote it in the Google Doc. The episode really just turned into, oh man, the government sure is bad. And even them pretending like it isn't at the end of the episode is just, it felt so fake, at least in my opinion. Episode was a 3 out of 5. The only things I liked about this episode, there were two things I really liked about this episode that make the episode more like bearable. One, I liked the scene where Earl accidentally was in prison and was telling them, "Hey, let me out, let me out." And then when the cop finally does let him out, he's like, "Why didn't you tell anyone about this?" That was really funny. And also, there's a cute little Roadrunner reference in here, which, again, I love old school cartoons, so I'm gonna love stuff like that, even despite how small it is. 18, a dad's car. It's Mother's Day, and Earl's mom wants him and his dad to get along. Meanwhile, Joy sends Darnell and the kids away because, I mean, hey, technically, Joy's a mom. 3 out of 5. Pro, I liked this one more than last episode. Con, it's still mostly boring. Only reason why I'd recommend you should somewhat watch this episode is because of the ending with Earl and his dad bonding. That was really cool. Just a shame most of the rest of the episode was just pretty boring. 19, Y2K. Earl flashes back to when he and the crew worried about Y2K. 4 out of 5. Pretty good flashback episode. This isn't the first time we've dealt with a Y2K episode. If you remember a couple months ago, or even just rewatched the video recently, In my Family Guy Season 2 review, I talked about Da Boom, which also talked about the Y2K. It's difficult to say I think I like this episode more than that Family Guy episode, but then again, like, Earl and Family Guy are such different shows. It's kind of weird trying to even compare some random episodes from them. Still, pretty good episode. It really does just show how dumb Earl and the crew are. We also see Donnie again, who we haven't seen since like literally the second episode. And while I didn't really find that episode that funny, Donnie was actually really good here. Like Randy and Donnie thinking, like fighting over who should be the president. Just pretty good episode. 20, Boogeyman. Earl helps a kid's fear of the dark, but the kid tries to live with him and Earl, and but the kid tries to live with him, and Earl's confused as a kidnapper. Don't have much to say. 4 out of 5. This is the type of episode I describe as good without being anything special. Not much to add, really. There are some stuff I like Earl's opinion of heaven, which, admittedly, as someone who actually does genuinely, I know I'm only like 17, but still, I unironically worry about stuff like the afterlife or if there even is one. So, admittedly, this is the type of stuff I'd think about. So hearing someone like Earl's take on it is it was just interesting to me. And again, rare good joy moment. I did like the scene where we're talking about TV and talking about Earl being this kidnapper, and Joy just uses her being on the news as an excuse to promote her stuff. I thought that was a good funny, good episode. 21, The Bounty Hunter. Earl's old girlfriend comes back for revenge on Joy. Man, I was trying to warm up to Joy, but then this episode, not gonna spoil it, but this episode makes Joy even worse, which I didn't even know was humanly possible. Still a pretty good episode, though. Honestly, Jessie, who's the name of Earl's old girlfriend, is a giant badass. The fact Earl would ever. I mean, I guess it's been fully explained that Earl was drunk when him and Joy did the thing, but still, I feel so bad for Jessie, bro. Honestly, you know what? She didn't deserve Earl, or at least the Earl back in the day who was just a giant jerk, you know? Well, this is a really good episode. I actually really like it. 22, Stole a Badge. Earl finds a badge. Earl finds a badge he stole once. Apparently, it belonged to a guy named Stuart. This is a good episode. 4 out of 5. I liked that the officer eventually didn't even want to be a cop anymore, and that was a family forced thing. You know, hey, seeing some men just overthrowing the women. Yeah. Ain't letting women tell us how to do. Women just be forcing us to do this thing, but us men just keep on rolling, not even caring. Am I looking way too deeply into this episode? Obviously, but I'm trying to make this somewhat interesting. All you gotta know is that this is just another good episode. I just don't have much to say on other than that, like that weird guy was really weird. You know the context if you've seen the episode. 23, BB. Earl helps a girl named Gwen after a certain situation he did as a kid. Basically, he shot a BB up the girl's bum. Gwen's bum, her booty. Which is a funny idea. Just a shame it's a 3 out of 5. You know the drill with these 3 out of 5 Earl episodes. Not even going to bother talking about this one. Gwen's dad was weird, but not weird in a funny way. Unlike the guy from last episode. Again, know the context. And finally, 24, number 1. Earl gives the lottery money to the person he stole the ticket from. This makes him and Randy very poor. Oh, this is a really good idea for a season 1 finale, and honestly is a 4 out of 5. Seeing the season end and having the finale connect to the lottery stuff that was at the That was obviously the whole point of the show, or at least at the very beginning, was a very cool idea. Even if now that I think about it, I probably should have expected. But again, I'm not the brightest tool in the shed, so you gotta give me some slack there. Don't have much to say, honestly. Really good episode. I really like this one. Seeing Earl and Randy slowly fight over Earl's whole list and the whole karma thing was really interesting too. I definitely enjoyed that aspect of the episode. Really good way to send the season out. Definitely recommend this one. Okay, that's My Name is Earl Season 1. You know the drill, so I'll just be saying so I'll just be doing the list now. At number 24, we have the 3 out of 5 episodes. At the bottom, we have Wait Like Christmas, which is the only episode I even considered giving a 2 out of 5. Then we have the rest of the 3 out of 5s, which honestly, if you switched most of the 3 out of 5s, I probably wouldn't care, as to me, they were really, other than White Like Christmas, a lot of them were roughly around the same amount of quality. So take these opinions especially with a grain of salt. We have Didn't Pay Taxes, BB, Dad's Car, Broke Joy's Fancy Figurine, Stole Beer from Uncle Fur, Quit Smoking, Teacher Earl, and The Professor. Now the top 15. These are the 4 out of 5s. The episodes I genuinely recommend you watch. At 15, we have a Barn Burner, Boogeyman, Cost Dad an Election, Randy's Touchdown, and Joy's Wedding. For the top 10, we have Stole a Badge, Something to Live For, Y2K, Number 1, and Oh Karma, We're Out There. Where art thou? Can never say anything right with that one, apparently. And then for the top 5, we have a Pilot, Bounty Hunter, Faked My Own Death, Monkeys in Space, and Stole P's HD card is easily my favorite of the season. Overall, My Name's Earl Season 1 is the type of season I describe as good, with a few pretty good episodes, without being anything especially great. No, none of the episodes are 5s. I'd say the top 2 episodes are both pretty close, I'd say, but I still wouldn't quite say they're like max rating level good. But at the same time, only one episode even someone considered giving a 2, so I'd honestly say this is probably one of the most consistent seasons I've reviewed. And that's definitely a very good thing. I feel like obviously, uh, I don't really have much to say else really. The show has like 3 more seasons, as there's 4 in total, so I definitely do want to get around to the rest of the seasons, as I'm very curious about how it'll be. Hopefully, it's even better than season 1. But if honestly the other 3 seasons are around this quality, I'm totally fine with that. As this was still a good ride. Don't let me making this video extremely late not persuade you into watching at least this season, as I think it was actually really good. And now, I guess we should all know, Z-Man is a really fun thing, but my name is